Taking a stroll through the summer vegetable garden is one of my favorite things to do. The garden is alive, the insects are buzzing, the trees are abundant with new growth, and hopefully your fruit trees are starting to give you a lot of yummy fruit. That's what this video is about. And in particular, figs. Figs are one of my favorite fruits, and they are very nutritious and very, very easy to grow. So I'm going to fast forward straight into the tasting of the first figs of the season so I can share that experience with you and get you just as excited as the upcoming fig season as I am. So now I'm sitting next to one of my pot grown figs. Fig trees love growing in pots. They can absolutely thrive and you can control their position and shape really nicely. But what we have here is we have two perfect figs. Probably overripe just because it's been the Christmas season and I've been wanting to do this video for quite a while but just haven't been able to yet. So okay, come, we have a little adventurer today who also wants to taste some of the fruit. So what I want to do is take one of these out and I'm going to taste it with you. Actually, we are going to taste it with you. Look at this beautiful fig. It's oblong. It's really soft and squishy, so this is definitely overripe. But here's your first tip. Overripe.
I want to taste it.
We're going to taste it now, okay?
Where?
Now we're going to cut it open. Tip number one is, if you don't like the figgy flavor of figs, let your figs go to overripe stage. That means you're not going to have the green layer on the inside or the sap, which gives it that figgy flavor. So if you want more of a sweet fig jam texture and flavor, make sure they go overripe. What I'm going to do is just cut it up nice and close for you. Yep, you agree.
Yes.
So just have a look here. There's the fig. And if we cut it, you'll see absolutely beautiful inside. There's no green, no sap. All the side has now become the same color. Just wait. And this is going to be an absolutely delicious one. So, what does this actually taste like? Noah, let's see what it tastes like. Take a bite.
What is that?
That's a fig.
I don't want to eat it.
Why?
Because
Can Daddy taste it?
yes.
Okay. This is literally like fig jam. It is so soft and probably soggy, but it is so sweet and there is absolutely no sensation of fig in here.
Daddy, move.
So if you are
I can't go.
back to the figs. They're so good. The second tip is, unlike what I've done, know your variety. I had them all in pots and I potted this one up and forgot to label the pot. So this is either, well, I know it's a black fig because it's purple and it's purple on the inside. So it's either a Noir de Caron, a Violette de Bordeaux, but I don't think it's a Bordeaux because the figs are quite big and the Bordeaux figs are quite small. It could also be a Black Beauty. So I'm not 100% sure. I am going to have to wait for some of the other figs to come into fruit to see what it is. So make sure you know what variety it is. Why? Primarily because you then get to know when they set fruit. Some fruits have Braber and main crops, some have main crops only. Why I'm a bit confused with this is these two that I'm eating now are quite delicate and I suppose small, but there aren't a lot of them. And I'm seeing a lot of figs in other places. So what I'm thinking is that could have been a small Braber crop, but the main crop is still going to set. That would then distinguish what type of fig it is. because some figs, like I say, only have main and some have main and Braber crops. Now that we've tasted 2 delicious figs, let's get back to some bonus tips for you. You've already got 2 tips, let's see how many more we can give. The third tip is to remember that figs set fruit on new growth, or this year's growth. So if you don't prune correctly or you don't prune, you're going to end up with massive fig trees that probably put on fruit towards the tips, and it's going to make it very difficult for you to reach it. So if you want a nice compact tree like this one, prune down, prune hard every winter. I've got a few fig pruning videos I can link out to for you. Tip number 4, know the difference between Braber and main crop. So what you have with some varieties, and this is why I said it's so important to know your variety, is in some varieties you have a first flush of growth, which is very early on in the season. In South Africa or the southern hemisphere, we're looking at November, December. These trees will put out a flush of first small little figs, and this is what we know as green figs. It's typically what you make green fig preserve from. Now these trees will put out that small fig first flush Braber crop, and then after that they would put another crop out, which is called the main crop. The figs of the main crop are bigger, sweeter, juicier, so those trees are generally more prized for the main crop than the Braber, but it gives you the added benefit of being able to make green fig preserve from the green figs. This is why tip number 4 is so important, and knowing your variety. Your Braber crop sets fruit on old growth, or 2nd or 3rd year old growth, not new growth. So you understand why it's so important to know your variety. If you have a 1 flush variety, then what you do is you prune hard and you want as much growth as possible, because all the way along that growth you're going to get figs, but you're going to get 1 flush. If you have a 2 flush fig variety with a Braber and main crop, you don't want to prune as aggressively. You want to prune by 1/3. So if we look at this tree over here, I would take it down at this point, and then all the way along the stem. Next season I will get the Braber crop setting fruits along there. So your Braber crop sets fruit on older wood, main crop sets fruit on new fruit. If you don't have a 2 crop variety, prune hard. If you do, prune less hard, because you need both new and old wood. Tip number 5 is these are Mediterranean plants, meaning they do not like being overwatered. If you give them too much water, the juice will split, it'll crack, it'll sour, the leaves will start going yellow, it'll fall off. So just like mimicking the climate in the Mediterranean, which is a harsh climate, you want to have your pots and your figs semi-dry out, and then give a deep watering. You don't want to water them all the time regularly, because then you're going to get strange growth habits, more than likely going to end up with a lot of growth, not a lot of figs. So just remember, try and mimic the fig's natural habitat by giving hot, dry summers, and then in winter it doesn't really matter because the leaves are off. And then tip number 6 is the biggest pest of the fig, which is the fig borer. Now the fig borer, I've done a really great video on, which actually shows you the size of this horrible thing. It will come in and lay its eggs in the stem or the base of the tree, and sometimes in the initial parts of the first branches. These larvae take up to 3 years to mature. So for 3 years, they are busy eating the trunk and inside of the tree before they actually emerge as the next generation of beetle. In that video, I show you what you should be doing with your more mature trees, which is wrapping something around the base and just underneath the roots, so that you can stop the beetle from getting to the base and laying its eggs. So if you have a fig tree, be mindful of the fig borer, because it can literally destroy your prized fig tree, and there is nothing you can do about it. So that's all we have time for in today's video. I hope you enjoyed the quick little taster. I hope you appreciate some of the tips that I've given with this. If you have a fig tree, I hope you're getting really great harvest. And if you've got any questions about growing figs, flavors, varieties, anything like that, please let me know and I will definitely get back to you. Please remember to subscribe so that you can see subsequent fig tasting videos. And thanks again for all of your support, and until then, happy growing.
Those are pigs. So be careful. Open this at inside. So here. Look at those trees. Pool. So let's go toys in the room. Okay.